What if I told you a single digital asset could one day pay your bills for life? Imagine not having to stress about covering rent, groceries, travel, or family needs. Because one carefully built crypto position provides a stream of income that flows steadily, year after year. Most people think retirement is something distant, a goal they'll reach in 20 or 30 years. But the math changes dramatically when you look at XRP and the real catalysts that are coming together right now. This is not financial advice. Let's talk about freedom. For most people, retirement doesn't mean private jets or endless luxury. It means being able to live well, take care of family, travel when you want, and choose work because you enjoy it, not because you have to. In numbers, that looks like around $120,000 per year in the US. A number that provides comfort, choice, and peace of mind. The smartest way to hit that number isn't through gambling or chasing the next meme coin. It's through combining real-world catalysts, disciplined profit-taking, and a cash flow plan that brings stability. Now, before I dive deeper, if you're serious about building wealth and want to discover the kind of stocks that can change your life, you need to check out the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide. Find 100 times stocks. It's packed with documents, images, video breakdowns, and insights that you simply won't find anywhere else. If you're here to change your financial future, check the pinned comment below. Let's come back to XRP. Today it trades around 50 cents. That might not seem like much, but consider the catalysts already in motion. The SEC case is behind Ripple. Futures ETFs are live in the US, Canada already has a spot ETF, and a US spot ETF is under review. Ripple has launched its own stablecoin, RLUSD, and secured major licensing wins in places like Dubai. On top of that, the XRP VM sidechain is live, unlocking massive new possibilities for smart contracts and DEFI. Each of these is powerful on its own, but when you put them together, the picture gets even clearer. We're talking about regulatory clarity, real utility, global reach, and the type of institutional-grade infrastructure that investors have been waiting for. When you combine those factors with disciplined planning, XRP becomes more than just a speculative bet. It becomes a vehicle for long-term financial freedom. So, let's map out how a realistic XRP plan could cover your lifestyle. Think of retirement not as a magic number, but as a cash flow system. If you've got $1 million invested in something like short-term US Treasuries, yielding around 5%, that alone provides about $50,000 a year in income. Add in other income sources, and suddenly you've got a steady six-figure lifestyle covered. And here's where XRP comes into play. If the price of XRP climbs over time, the number of tokens you need to hit that $1 million benchmark gets surprisingly small. Let's break it down. If XRP ever reaches $100, then 10,000 XRP equals $1 million. If XRP trades at $1,000, then just 1,000 XRP equals $1 million. And if it ever reached $10,000, then 100 XRP equals $1 million. Now, these are scenarios, not promises. But the point is that the number of tokens required shrinks dramatically as price rises, which makes even modest stacks potentially life-changing over the long run. The question then becomes, how do you build and manage that stack without taking on crazy risk? That's where a three-step framework comes in. Step 1 is accumulation. Build up a core XRP position over time. Buy small amounts regularly, and when you see dips, consider adding more. This creates a base you can hold through the ups and downs, capturing the full benefit of long-term catalysts like ETFs, sidechain adoption, and global licensing. The idea is to have a stash you don't constantly trade in and out of, but instead grow steadily with the big picture in mind. Step 2 is profit taking. Too many people think retirement with XRP means holding on to tens of thousands of coins forever, waiting for a mythical price target. The smarter approach is to set profit ladders. Look at the charts. XRP's last major high was around $3.40. As price breaks old levels and climbs into new territory, plan to take profits in stages. Sell a portion when price doubles, another portion when it triples, and so on. Move those profits into safer assets like treasuries or tokenized T-bills that yield 4 to 5%. That way, your digital gains translate into steady cash flow, which is what real financial freedom is built on. Step 3 is hedging. Don't put every dollar into XRP alone. Keep a slice of your portfolio in Bitcoin and Ethereum as a macro hedge. Use stablecoins to earn yield and provide liquidity. And if you want extra protection, you can adjust exposure or use inverse instruments during high-risk events. This isn't about being scared, it's about being smart. By spreading your exposure, you avoid being 100% dependent on a single outcome, and that's how you stay in the game long enough to win. Once you're following this framework, you can start thinking about price levels and signals that help guide your decisions. For example, when XRP breaks above its old cycle highs, that's a major technical confirmation. From there, watch momentum indicators like MACD. If the MACD crosses above zero and keeps rising, it suggests strong upward energy. Meanwhile, RSI holding above 50 on dips means buyers are still in control. These are simple tools that keep you aligned with the trend without relying on emotions or guesswork. Now, think about what happens when utility and access collide. On one side, you've got XRP's expanding utility, cross-border payments, DEFI via the sidechain, and stability through RLUSD. On the other, you've got regulated access through ETFS and global licenses. Together, they create the kind of environment where both institutions and individuals can participate confidently. That's when adoption can hit escape velocity. And here's the exciting part. You don't need hundreds of thousands of tokens to benefit. A disciplined plan, steady accumulation, and staged profit-taking can turn even a modest stack into a stream of income that covers real-life expenses. The freedom to live on your terms isn't about some massive jackpot. It's about building a system where your assets generate reliable cash flow. When you look at it that way, XRP becomes more than just a cryptocurrency chart. It becomes a tool for unlocking time, freedom, and choice. And that's why so many seasoned investors are paying attention right now. As XRP's ecosystem continues to expand, one of the biggest shifts to watch is how traditional finance connects directly to on-chain products. We're already seeing this through tokenized treasuries and regulated stablecoins. Imagine logging into your crypto wallet and instantly being able to allocate a portion of your XRP profits into short-term US Treasury notes, earning 4 to 5% yield, but settled completely on-chain. This kind of bridge takes away the friction between digital and traditional finance, letting wealth flow smoothly across both. For someone planning a retirement lifestyle, that's a game changer. But let's zoom out for a moment. XRP is part of a much larger trend, the digitization of financial infrastructure. Ripple's focus has always been on cross-border payments, removing friction from the $150+ trillion global payments market. When you add in the live EVM-compatible sidechain, developers suddenly have the ability to build DeFi, NFT, and smart contract applications that tap into this payments backbone. Combine that with RLUSD, Ripple's own stablecoin, and you get a full-stack ecosystem where XRP isn't just a bridge asset, it's the heartbeat of an entire financial layer. Now ask yourself, what happens when institutions realize they can move billions in a regulated environment, settle instantly across borders, and plug into decentralized finance at the same time. That's not just adoption, it's integration. And once integration begins, it tends to accelerate. Institutions don't tiptoe into efficiency upgrades. They dive in once the rails are safe, legal, and liquid. For an individual investor, this matters because it gives real-world fuel to price growth. The biggest gains in crypto often come not from speculation, but from adoption that makes an asset indispensable. Think back to Bitcoin. The story started with digital money, but the real institutional demand came when it was framed as digital gold. Ethereum's rise came not from its logo, but from the explosion of decentralized applications. XRP is now positioned to enter that same lane of indispensability. Global payments, plus DeFi utility, plus stablecoin integration. And this brings us back to the practical side. How you can position yourself to capture it. The beautiful thing about profit ladders is that they keep you disciplined. Instead of waiting for some impossible number, you're steadily turning digital wealth into real cash flow along the way. Let's say you hold 20,000 XRP. If price breaks $5, you could sell a small slice and rotate it into yield-generating assets. If it runs to $10, take another slice. At $20, another. By the time it climbs to $50 or $100, you've built a steady base of cash flow while still keeping exposure to further upside. The key word here is sustainability. Too many people think about retirement as an all-or-nothing event, one giant payout at one giant number. In reality, freedom is built in stages. Every profit taken and every yield stream added is another step toward independence. XRP just happens to provide one of the clearest vehicles to accelerate that timeline. Let's also talk psychology, because wealth building is not only about charts and numbers. When markets run hot, greed creeps in. When they pull back, fear sets in. Having a clear plan removes both extremes. When you've already decided in advance that you'll sell 5% of your stack at $10, 10% at $25, another portion at $50, there's no need to second guess yourself in the heat of the moment. The plan protects you from your emotions, and your emotions are usually the biggest threat to your portfolio. This is especially important in crypto, where cycles are wild. XRP, like every digital asset, will have corrections, consolidations, and shakeouts. That's not failure, that's normal market behavior. A clear strategy means you'll never have to panic sell at the bottom or chase at the top. You'll already know exactly how each stage of the journey builds toward your financial freedom. Another overlooked angle is global diversification. Ripple has been strategic in targeting jurisdictions where regulators are forward-thinking. Dubai, Singapore, parts of Europe. These are hubs where licensing is not only possible, but encouraged. As a result, XRP is often treated as a regulated asset abroad even before the US fully aligns. That means liquidity, partnerships, and institutional pipelines continue to grow regardless of what one country decides. For a long-term investor, that's powerful insulation. Now think about technology convergence. The EVM sidechain makes XRP interoperable with the largest ecosystem in crypto, Ethereum. Developers can bring proven DeFi protocols into the XRP environment using XRP's efficiency for settlement. It's like merging the best of both worlds, Ethereum's flexibility and XRP's speed and cost efficiency. For investors, that means the ceiling isn't capped at payments alone. It stretches across lending, staking, NFTs, and whatever the next wave of decentralized innovation brings. At the same time, Ripple is positioning RLUSD to compete head-to-head with stablecoin giants. And here's the clever part. A Ripple-backed stablecoin automatically integrates with Ripple's payment network, instantly making settlement smoother for institutions and retail alike. The more RLUSD grows, the more it reinforces XRP's role as the bridge. And the more XRP functions as that bridge, the stronger the case for long-term demand. This interconnected web of catalysts, ETFs, EVM sidechain, RLUSD, licensing, global adoption, creates something markets can't ignore. Investors look for clarity, utility, and liquidity. XRP is assembling all three. That's the recipe that transforms speculative potential into tangible adoption. But again, the journey is about translating potential into real-world freedom. Let's circle back to the cash flow concept. Imagine you start with 10,000 XRP. Over time, as price climbs and you take profits in disciplined steps, you rotate those gains into assets yielding 4 to 6%. That stream starts at $5,000 a year, then grows to $15,000, then $30,000, and before you know it, you've built a base of income that pays your bills. Whether XRP eventually hits $50, $100, or higher, the key is that you didn't wait endlessly. You created freedom in stages. The other beauty of this system is flexibility. Life isn't static. Needs change, opportunities arise, and sometimes markets throw curveballs. Having liquidity outside your XRP stack means you're always in a position of strength. You can reinvest, support family, or simply breathe easier, knowing that part of your wealth is secured in stable, income-generating assets. Meanwhile, your remaining XRP keeps working for you. If price keeps running, great. You still benefit. If it consolidates or even pulls back, you've already locked in gains and built streams that keep paying regardless of market swings. That's what separates a retirement fantasy from a retirement plan. When you zoom out, the bigger picture becomes clear. XRP is no longer just about cross-border payments. It's a multi-pronged ecosystem tied to regulation, institutions, DeFi, and real-world utility. Pairing that with a rules-based profit ladder and a low-risk yield structure creates a roadmap that can carry you all the way to financial freedom. Another key element to consider is momentum cycles. Crypto doesn't move in straight lines. It moves in waves. After big breakouts, consolidations happen. Then, momentum builds again. Understanding these rhythms keeps you grounded and prevents impatience. When XRP begins a strong trend, technical indicators like MACD crossing positive or RSI holding above 50 are valuable confirmations. But the deeper confirmation comes from on-chain data and adoption metrics. The more real settlement volume, institutional use, and sidechain activity grows, the stronger the foundation becomes for sustained price appreciation. This is where catalysts meet psychology. When investors see regulated ETFs listing, global banks integrating RippleNet, and developers launching applications on the XRP sidechain, confidence compounds. And in markets, confidence drives capital. Once capital flows consistently into an ecosystem, liquidity deepens, volatility smooths out, and valuations can rise far beyond what most early holders expect. That's why having a disciplined system ready before the hype arrives is critical. You won't need to guess or chase. You'll simply follow your preset ladder and keep building streams of yield. Now let's think about XRP in a global context. In regions with weaker banking infrastructure, digital assets aren't just investments, they're lifelines. XRP's ability to settle fast, cheap, and across borders makes it uniquely suited for these environments. When Ripple partners with payment providers in Africa, Asia, or Latin America, adoption is not theoretical, it's practical. People on the ground use it to move money, save money, and bypass inefficiencies that have trapped them for decades. Global utility doesn't just grow price, it cements resilience. Even if one market slows, others keep pulling demand forward. For the long-term investor, That resilience is what creates peace of mind. You're not depending on one government, one exchange, or one event. You're invested in an ecosystem that thrives across borders. And as adoption compounds, your disciplined profit-taking steadily turns that growth into a lifetime of freedom. That's the difference between speculation and strategy. But let's zoom into the technical side again, because this is where discipline really pays off. Suppose XRP pushes through the $3 region and then tests $5. Many investors will freeze thinking, what if it keeps going? Should I sell? Should I wait? With a ladder, you already know the answer. You sell a small portion. If it keeps running to $10, you sell another. If it runs to $20, another. At each stage, you've locked in gains, grown your cash flow, and reduced your risk. You're not trying to catch the exact top. You're steadily converting volatility into stability. This method also prepares you for surprises on the upside. If XRP were to accelerate faster than expected due to an ETF approval or a wave of institutional adoption, your plan automatically captures it. You don't need to second guess. You simply take the steps you already outlined. And if the asset consolidates instead, you're still positioned with yield streams that keep paying you. That's how you turn crypto from a gamble into a lifetime asset. One overlooked benefit of this system is how it compounds. The income streams you create from profit-taking don't have to sit idle. They can be reinvested. Maybe you use tokenized T-bills for steady 5% income. That income itself compounds month after month. Over years, those streams build a secondary snowball of wealth on top of your XRP stack. Suddenly, you're not just waiting for XRP's price. You're earning consistently in parallel. That's how true wealth accelerates. And remember, the lifestyle number, about $120,000 per year, isn't about extravagance. It's about choice. Maybe you cover $60,000 from cash-flowing assets built from your XRP profits, and the rest comes from side businesses, consulting, or passion projects. Retirement doesn't have to mean stopping work. It means shifting into work you actually want to do, with no financial pressure. That's the kind of freedom people spend their whole lives chasing. And XRP provides a faster track if approached with discipline. It's also worth noting how rapidly digital assets are merging with traditional systems. Major custodians are offering institutional crypto custody. Banks are exploring tokenized deposits. Governments are experimenting with central bank digital currencies. In this environment, an asset like XRP, already designed for global settlement, sits at the perfect intersection. It's fast enough for retail use, regulated enough for institutions, and integrated enough for global finance. That positioning is rare, and rare positioning often translates into rare opportunities. Think about it this way. Every XRP you hold is a seed. Some seeds will grow faster than others, but the key is planting them in fertile soil and harvesting wisely. If you plant with discipline, water with consistency, and harvest with strategy, the result isn't just a one-time payout, it's a lifetime orchard that feeds you year after year. That's the vision of XRP retirement. Not fantasy, not hype, but a framework where digital gains translate into enduring freedom. And when you zoom out, you realize how few assets even offer that possibility. Most investments require decades to build a six-figure lifestyle. XRP, with its catalysts and global adoption curve, compresses that timeline dramatically, if you play it right. Now, before we wrap up, here's something special for those ready to take action today. First, don't forget to grab the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide, Find 100x Stocks, in the pinned comment. It's packed with documents, images, and videos that show you exactly how to spot the next life-changing opportunities. And second, with my Robinhood link below, you can claim free NVDA stocks up to $200. just by depositing $1. Two powerful ways to boost your future. Make sure you check the pinned comment and description to get both. Because at the end of the day, wealth isn't built by waiting. It's built by starting. Whether it's XRP, stocks, or yield streams, the key is putting your money to work now with a clear system. And when you do, the vision of retirement shifts from someday to soon. So ask yourself, how close are you to your freedom number? How disciplined is your plan? And how ready are you to let assets like XRP, backed by real catalysts, fuel a future where your bills are paid for life?